Burchell. I work as a miner in the deep mines, strip mines. I've been a social worker. I've been a Bible scholar and Bible teacher for about 6 years, and I was raised up on the family farm right back of us here. In the 1940s, there's a 5-acre tract of land here where we raised industrial hemp. And my father had registered, purebred, Holstein, Jersey, and Guernsey cows. And we sold milk all around Manchester here for 12.5 cents a quart. We sold it in glass bottles, and there would be cream about 4 or 4.5 inches up in that bottle. You could make buttermilk, butter, cheese, and what we used to call clabber is yogurt. And it was healthy, it had enzymes, and now if you want to get in big trouble with the government, you try to sell whole milk or raise some hemp.
If you still have hemp growing, don't tell me.
You know, not one cigarette was smoked, ever smoked out of this 5-acre field here. But in 30 countries around the world, including Australia, Japan, and all the countries of the European Union, there are significant restrictions and outright bans on the production of GMOs, which is genetically modified organisms. And they're rejected because they're not considered to be proven safe. In the United States, on the other hand, the FDA approved commercial production of GMOs based on studies conducted by the companies who created them and profited from their sale. Many health-conscious shoppers found the lack of rigorous, independent scientific examination on the impact of consuming GM foods to be a cause for concern. Polls consistently shows that a significant majority of Americans would like to be able to tell if the food they're purchasing contains GMOs. According to a recent CBS New York Times poll, 53% of consumers said that they would not buy food that had been genetically modified. The FDA has approved the use of GMOs in more than 80% of packaged products in the average United States grocery. Senator Paul, what can Congress do, or what could you do to limit the power of the FDA over farmers who would like to raise industrial hemp and produce whole milk? And how would we limit the FDA from giving corporations like Monsanto more power over the individual concerns for their health?
If you want to know when your government's grown too large, it's when the USDA has a SWAT team with automatic weapons. And I'm not kidding you. 47 different federal agencies have SWAT teams and automatic weapons. And I don't mind the sheriff and the police having them. We've got to have some weapons to protect ourselves. But in California, they raided an organic food store for the crime of selling milk directly from the cow. And my father-in-law grew up in Lewisburg, it's a tiny town in Logan County, drank milk from the cow until he was 20 years old. And he said the only bad part about it was when the cow got into onions. But he survived. He's now 81. So I am for the freedom of people to make decisions, on what they want to buy. Personally, there are some advantages to pasteurization. It's safer to sell, safer to keep. It kills the bacteria. I'm fine with myself drinking it from the store. However, if you don't want to and you want to drink it from a cow and you want to buy it from a local neighbor who sells it from the cow, it should be your business. It really shouldn't be anybody else's business. On hemp, I'm with you also. I testified in favor of legalized hemp. I think it can be differentiated. We've talked a lot with law enforcement. They're not all with us, but some have come around. The bill was modified to try to make it where we would know exactly who was growing hemp, where the hemp was going to be, and they would go through routine inspections to know that they're not growing marijuana with it. It looks like marijuana to the naked eye. However, if we're flying over and looking for it, we know exactly where the hemp's being grown, and you have a permit, I think we should be able to do it. The other point about it is hemp doesn't have much of the THC in it, which is the hallucinogenic part of marijuana. It's very little, and not enough that anybody would smoke it. The people who grow marijuana, the ones that grow it like in California where you can grow it legally, they don't want any native or other stuff other than what they're growing to contaminate. They actually grow their marijuana inside with filters so the pollen from native plants won't get in it. So I don't think people growing illegal marijuana will want to grow with hemp because it will destroy the potency of the hemp. The good thing about hemp is we used to grow lots of it. We were the leading producer of hemp. It was used in rope, but the thing is it still could be used in rope, and that'd be at least part of it. But one really cool thing it could be used in is it's used in the dashboards of cars. We make Toyota here. We also make Ford here. We're pretty good. I think we're in the top 5 car producing states. If we could actually get hemp grown and make it a product, and it also grows in less good farmland. And I'm guessing Clay County is not the heart of farmland. You may have some farmland, but it's not as good as it probably is in the Midwest, but maybe you could grow hemp here. It does mean adapting, and you need to convince your law enforcement. I don't know if they're convinced or not, but you need to talk to them and see if we can convince them. It did pass. It passed at the state legislature. It's still illegal at the federal level. I have a bill to give states the ability to make it legal. If my bill would pass, then the states would have it. And the states would be able to do it. It still would be regulated. There would be rules. But I think it would be a potential crop that might help Kentucky and might help places in Kentucky that aren't real big farmland like Clay County. On the GMO, it's a little more complicated from my point of view. I don't really, genetically modified, what's the O stand for? Organisms. Genetically modified organisms, corn, things like that. We have a lot of it on the market. I think honest people can disagree or agree. I may not be as strongly a believer in thinking that it's bad for you. I don't know if it's good for you. There are people saying that our wheat has changed, and that's why we're all larger and overweight now. It's because of some of the genetically modified crops that we have. I don't want to ban it necessarily. Some people talk about labeling it so you can make your own decision. A lot of it is labeled now. If you're really concerned, there's gluten-free stuff, there's GMO-free stuff. And I think the way to go is through information, and the more consumers demand it, the more we'll get it. I'm just not sure I'd do it from